You're welcome to This Morning on ITV, your station of choice. And the second segment of the discussion this morning will revolve around challenges of drug trafficking and abuses. And with me to discuss this morning is Mr. Yahaya Undu, the president of the Movement for New Nigeria. You are most welcome.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Yahaya Undu, Nationalism and you. It is my... Yes. There has been challenges of drug trafficking, drug abuses, and it seems to be increasing, despite the fact that we have gotten an institution, the MDLEA, handling this from a long time to now. So, what do you think is happening?
Well, first of all, it's not far-fetched. They say that the devil finds work for idle minds and idle hands. In this, our country, we have found a way of isolating the youths from the scheme of things. We have made sure that there are no jobs for youths. We have made sure that there's so much confusion everywhere. We have made sure that disparity, injustice is rampant everywhere, and the average Nigerian youth is endangered. And I think they're taking solace in drugs. Why is it that a nation as richly blessed as Nigeria cannot provide employment for her youths? Nigerians are known to be about one of the most intelligent people you can find on the face of the earth. If you look at any department of human knowledge, or you find Nigerians in any part of the world, they excel. But here, back home, there's so much dysfunction, there's so much disparity, there's so much unemployment. I think this is the number one cause for the solace they're taking in drugs. If you are gainfully employed in a facility that is your choice of work, you wouldn't have time to go for drugs. So I think that with all the wonders we are doing in terms of getting the right people to man the NDLA, right now it is the man who performed so much wonders when he was a military administrator of Governor State that is heading it. I'm talking about Buba Marwa. Still, there's little he can do unless you begin to find places to accommodate our youths in terms of employment. Drugs matter will continue.
You have talked about the challenges that are driving our youth. And I have also heard that not only our youths, women, those who cannot procure the conventional narcotics, they go on sniffing some nylon. I don't know how to do it, and things of that nature. How did we arrive there?
That's what I'm saying. When you don't give people things to occupy them constructively, they are bound to occupy themselves destructively. That is why I mentioned that saying that is popular all over the world, that the devil finds work for the idle mind. You see, we do so many things that we don't realize they have consequences. We do things upside down. Take, for instance, the nominations for the post of governor that just went on in Anambra State, where a sitting governor was asked to go and conduct primary for the ruling party in Nigeria. And after the exercise, the INEC officials themselves who came to observe the election wrote, and it's published in our papers, that there was no nomination. So where is integrity? In a society where thieves are honored, where when you ask those who want to be president to line up, overwhelming majority of them are people who are known to be looters of public treasury, What kind of example are you setting for the youths? It's very easy to blame. And by the way, when we talk about youths, it's not only the males. People who are not fully matured in age, whether they are males or females, they qualify as youths. And 1 + 1 is 2. If we begin to engage them positively, if we begin to set good examples for them to follow, things will begin to go right.
Now you talked about, let me take you back again a little bit. You talked about the challenges that are driving our youth into drug abuses. That is unemployment and things of that nature. But what about trafficking? What about the trafficking angle of it? Because if we are not trafficking, most of these youth won't have anything to fall on in the name of drugs. The people that are trafficking this, definitely, they are not disadvantaged. They are not a victim of what you described as an idle mind. They are multi-millionaire in dollars and the rest of it. They keep on trafficking, bringing it in, exporting it out, and the rest of it, even making use of our youth as a carrier. What is your response to those ones?
Let me answer you in another form. If, for instance, you have a situation where there are adequate housing for people who want to live in a city, then Shylocks who have built houses and want to charge astronomical rents will not have people to patronize them. So it boils back to the same thing. You have people who traffic drugs. You have them all over the world. But why is it that we have so many people here who want to patronize them? It's because those people are not gainfully employed. Employment, more than anything else, will help in eradicating abuse of drugs. When people are busy, they won't have time for those vices. When they are not busy, that is when they will be susceptible for such vices. That is how I see it. Now, talking about those who traffic these things, they traffic it all over the world. Drug problem is a problem that you find prevalent in every nation on earth, except those who, with draconian laws, have managed to wrestle it down. I'm talking about nations like North Korea. But generally, in most of the free world, you find that drug trafficking is everywhere. But it's only in nations like Nigeria where you find it destroying so much in the fabric of the society at the same time. And I'm saying that you can locate this in the availability of those who patronize them because they have nothing else doing.
Has the National Law Enforcement, Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, be performing to maximally and achieving the intendment of its establishment? Have they done enough to rescue down this issue?
I think they are doing their best. They can't do more than their best. It's like if you have even the best car driver on earth, there's no way he can drive your car across the Atlantic Ocean. That's why I mentioned the man heading it, Buba Marwa. He did so much wonders in Borno when he was military administrator. I think that was under...
even in Lagos.
Even in Lagos. Today he's doing wonders in the NDLA, but those wonders is like a drop in the ocean. It can never contain the wahala that is everywhere because of massive... This is a nation of 200 million people. When they say 40% we have 40% unemployment rate, you know how many millions we're talking about? How can that agency do anything meaningful to stop them? They can arrest people in the airports. They can arrest people who are hawking this when you find them. But you have yourself said here that people are now even in the habit of manufacturing the drugs they use themselves. They're like the one that's sniffing. So find a way to engage our people constructively. That is when you begin to have a chance in containing this scourge.
Talking about having a chance of containing it, what is the role of the citizens in all this? We have always been pointing, accusing fingers to government, to government. What is the role of citizens? Where is citizens' participation in wrestling down?
Thank you very much.
Menace?
First of all, we are having a big problem today in our country. We believe we are running a democracy, whereas in essence what we are running is a civilian dictatorship. Nothing democratic about it. I just mentioned now something that is current, that in the just concluded or supposedly concluded nomination process for who will be candidates for the ruling party in Anambra State, which is the one that is on board now, that the governor of Ogun State, who was supposed to conduct it after whatever he did and put down something in terms of the person he felt should be the candidate and allotted votes, that even the INEC officials who came to observe it wrote and published that there was no nomination. So we are doing things wrong. Now, if we were to run a democracy, the APC people in Anambra State themselves will be the ones to, among themselves, select through a democratic process who should be their flag bearer. And I have a belief that until we have a mass participatory system of governance in this country, where the citizens themselves have a stake in how they are governed, we can never make progress. If, for instance, you want to talk about health, and you appoint one man, Minister for Health, and whatever he thinks about becomes what informs their policy for health. If you compare this with a second scenario, where all those our medical doctors, our pharmacists, and so on have a way to synergize and as a group come up with what should be our health policy, you begin to have a difference. You begin to see that the second scenario will be much, much more useful, functional, and realistic than the other, where you have a greater number of people who are professionals coming together to provide solutions.
Mr. Yahaya Undu, what are the negative impacts of drug abuse on our nation?
There's so much. Number one is that it destroys the fabric of the society. It makes people even lose identity of whom they are. It creates indolency. And the worst part of it, that it removes or negates or blots the conscience in them. And then you can begin to find people acting like pure animals, even worse than animals. That's why you begin to see people, even when they claim to be religious fanatics, you see them doing things that are totally contrary to the tenets of the religion. You begin to see extremism because there's no longer conscience. There is no longer that soft voice to caution them as to what they do. It's because of the prevalence of these drugs that you have kidnapping everywhere, banditry everywhere, fanatics roaming. Our society is so insecure. These drugs have a big part to play in this. So these are some of the fallouts from this.
What will you have as a fundamental advice towards rectifying the situation? Are you saying the situation is insurmountable?
Nothing like that. It's not insurmountable. But we have to start somewhere. The first thing we should do, to my mind, is to create a mass participatory platform. Let all of us have a voice, a stake in evolving solutions that will work for us. That is the first thing we should do. The second thing we should do is to take ourselves seriously, to remember that what goes around comes around, to entrench equity in our polity, and to govern ourselves with under rule of law, where what is good for the geese will also be good for the gander. That's what I think we should do.
People talked about arrest, then how do they put it? They said, when you arrest these drug traffickers or criminals, it has been trending. You are not supposed to display them. What do they call it? How do they call it? you are not supposed to display those you arrest with drugs. Do you share this view?
No, I don't. I totally oppose it. Because even in traditional African society, the normal thing is to use the conscience of the masses to force others, deviants, to go back to what is right. If you arrest people carrying drugs that are damaging others, and you say you don't display them, you are encouraging them.
They said it is against human rights.
Against
you are violating their rights.
How about the rights of those who are being damaged? Those ones that don't have rights. Is it only the drug trafficker that have rights? The people, the children, the youths that it is damaging, they don't have rights? How can you arrest somebody with physical evidence and they say that to display that person is against his human right? A right of one man.
They say people are judged to be innocent until the court prove otherwise.
Well, you are not saying they are guilty. You are simply saying that you have arrested them and are holding them. Are you saying that you have not judged them? You didn't say they are guilty. You are just simply saying, okay, I'm here. I'm putting a cap. Have I done anything wrong? If you show me on camera wearing my cap, what have I done wrong? What have you done wrong?
The people raising against this, they are lawyers and they are senior lawyers, senior advocates of Nigeria. They said if you arrest criminals, you're not supposed to display them until you take them to court and things of that nature. I want you to speak on this.
Well, I think we have come to a point where we are losing our humanity. Maybe on the altar of professional financial survival. You see, we are using too much grammar to even forget that you are human beings to start with. Meanwhile, these lawyers you are talking about are the same ones that you find in court opposing themselves. If I have a case, no matter what I have done, I can always find a senior advocate if I can ever have enough cash to come and support me. And whoever is prosecuting me will always find such caliber of advocates to come and oppose me. So it's neither here nor there. There is no conscience again in play, and there's no godliness. Truth has been sacrificed. But the point remains that justice must not only be done, but must be seen to have been done. If you arrest anybody with a gun, with drugs, with anything, anybody who says you cannot display that same person with what you arrested him with, to me, is talking rubbish. I don't care the kind of grammar he uses to qualify his rubbish. Honestly.
I love it when you say that the arrest and showcasing them is appealing to the society's conscience.
It's not even appealing, it's just showing the society what is happening. The conclusion the society reaches is another matter. That's my view.
So, you support that they should be displayed when caught?
In fact, not only do I support that they should be displayed, if you don't display them, you are encouraging them. It's as simple as that. You see, when the thief is robbing in darkness and searchlight is beamed on the thief, he takes caution. Displaying them is putting searchlight on the activities. That is why you find that over 85% of all crimes in the world happen under the cover of darkness. When there is light, the devils begin to disappear. So anybody who is saying don't put searchlight on a criminal is encouraging that criminal to continue.
Yes, you have mentioned the new henchmen at the National Law Drug Enforcement Agent. General Buba Marwa retired. Some people said what he is doing is media stunt rather than the performance that you alluded to. What is your take?
I don't know what they... I think you should ask them what they mean by media stunt. I've never met Marwa, but I've read about the kind of catches he's making, and I am more than impressed. Every day he has not stayed so long. But you can find his agency arresting
just
people.
About 100 days plus.
You can see they're arresting carriers, traffickers of these drugs left and right. The same people who say he's indulging in media wrong are the ones who say he shouldn't display people. So maybe there is a conspiracy to actually put these things in the dark so that it can continue unfettered. If Marwa is doing media stunts with concrete things he's achieving, please, he should continue and even do more of that. We need more of it so that, at least, if nothing else, it will increase consciousness in the society of this evil and the efforts government is making to contain it.
Your last word to Nigeria.
My last word to Nigeria is that this is our country. Please, let's join together and fix it.
You are most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we hope that when we have the privilege to call upon you, you will avail us the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It is my pleasure.
Pleasure is mutual.
So, Nationalism and you on this morning on ITV. Still don't go away. Though we are rounding up the nationalism, and you remember and hold it in your heart that it is your duty, your responsibility to build that Nigeria nation of our collective aspirations and goal. Do not always point accusing fingers to others. No one will do it if you do not do it. Let it be I and you. Thank you very much, and keep faith with This Morning on ITV.